I would not either. Somebody tell me a teacher you remember from grade school. Who is it?
Miss Meininger.
Miss Meininger. And why do you remember this person?
She had a German accent, and she was the rudest teacher I've had in my life.
Rudest teacher you ever had, and you'll never forget this. And how long? What grade was it?
4th grade.
4th grade. So this was a few years back. Okay. Other hands. Oh, Amber.
Miss Fisher, 5th grade. She was the best teacher I had.
Miss Fisher, 5th grade, best teacher. Why?
Because I had her for 4th and 5th grade, so she traveled with me the next year, and it was the best. And then she taught my brother too.
That was good.
A few years later.
Okay, Emily.
Mr. Philippek, 4th grade, the first day of class, he said, if you don't love to read, you will before you leave this class, and that's where I learned to love reading.
Aww. Cameron.
Miss Brown, because she told me Santa wasn't real when I was just too young.
Did you tell her she was wrong?
I don't know.
Santa exists, y'all, and if you have not played on the internet, you do not know that Santa is real. I, today, would like to introduce you to one of the finest teachers in American history. This is Miss Maya Angelou, Dr. Maya Angelou. And she told us that people will always tell you things that you will forget. People will always tell you things that you forget to feel, but you will never forget how they made you feel. And so tonight, I'd like to talk about teachers that made us feel a certain way, and how we will never forget that feeling. From 4th grade, Miss German lady, to 5th grade, yeah, moved with you from grade to grade. My name is Chris Gurry, and I've been teaching for 22 years. And one of the things that I think is the most important when it comes to being with my students is making them feel a way about learning that they will want to continue to do so. So tonight, in the 5 minutes we have together, I'd like to share a story of 2 teachers. 1, the rudest teacher I've ever met, and 2, the teacher who I'll never forget that made me the man I am today. So the first thing we need to talk about is Mrs. Grigsby. Mrs. Grigsby was the 12th grade math teacher at Downers Grove South High School in Downers Grove, Illinois in 1996. I was the student council president, and every Wednesday we had an executive board meeting. How many people had stuff before school? Practice, weights, yeah. And at my school, it was at 7:30, and no one did things at 7:30 except for the good kids, okay? I had to go to the executive board meeting, and I did not happen to have my student ID the day that Mrs. Grigsby was doing hall duty. I also had Mrs. Grigsby at 11 o'clock for math. Mrs. Grigsby would not let me pass the hall monitor situation because I did not have my student ID. Even though everybody in the school knew that I was the student council president, and even though everybody knew that she had me at 11 o'clock. So what did I do? What any good kid at 7:30 in the morning would do. I waited till she looked somewhere else, and I ran past her. Went to my meeting, everything was good, until her class at 11, when I was escorted to the principal's office for my suspension. Yeah. This lady knew who I was. It's not a matter of principle, it's a matter of flexing her power. Whether I was wrong or not is left to your discretion. However, I have never forgotten this scar, much like Ryan didn't forget his 4th grade teacher or the fleas that adorn his ankles. But now we need to talk about somebody who I'll never forget for making me feel a certain way about students and teaching. This name is Mark Ziegler. Mark Ziegler still teaches at Florida State University up in Tallahassee. He teaches the basic COM 114 class that every student in the state has to take. When you go to graduate school at Florida State, if you're offered funding, they ask you if you'll teach 2 sections of public speaking. I met with Mark, who was the coordinator of all the teaching assistants, just after I was accepted into Florida State as a teacher of public speaking. They accepted 8 of us. Mark called each of us into his office and he talked about our applications. So when you apply to graduate school in the humanities, you get the opportunity at the big state schools to oftentimes be a TA and teach Spanish 101, Speech 101, English 101, Math 101, etc. And then they fund you, but it's competitive. And so in this case, Mark told each of us why we were selected for the program. And he told me at that point, it was the essay I wrote that allowed me into the program. And he said he wanted to take a chance on how I would be in the classroom after he saw what I put on the paper. Up until that point, I'd had people, not Mrs. Grigsby, take a chance on me and let me give a little bit of leverage and to be nice and see what I could do. And it was because of his chance that he took on me that I'm standing here with you tonight. And it brought me to this exact place this evening. So Yarden asking me to do a PowerPoint in 5 minutes with Emily holding my phone and friends around the room is all because of this person, Mark Ziegler. So when you guys think about the teacher you want to be, or the person you know, or the place that you went that you'll never forget, I want you to think about not what was there, not what was said, but how you were made to feel. And in this case, it's a mantra that I live up to every day. I'd rather build a relationship with a student over an argument on a grade. I'd rather have someone be late to my class who's safe than take points away for being late. And I'd rather understand why people do what they do than simply know why they were there to begin with. So in a world of Beth Grigsby's, I want you to think about being a Mark Ziegler.